Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast, a radio show coming to you on this Friday, August the 19th, 2022. Hopefully it finds you staying safe and staying sweaty all at the same time. On today's episode, we are talking about when what you're doing isn't working. How do we bust through the roadblock or the plateau to make progress in our health? And I'm going to touch on this from a physical standpoint in terms of eating, training, but overall everything in your diet and what you're consuming, from the things you listen to, the things you read, the people you surround yourself with, obviously the stuff that you put in your body, and just the overall environment. And even if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I like where I'm at, I like the progress I'm making, it doesn't have to just be married to the fitness world. When what you're doing isn't working in your career, in your finances, in your relationship, we can connect the dots and all these things here like I tend to do on most of the episodes. But if that's kind of the area you're reaching for, I think this is going to help you guys as well. Just for record, this is episode 494. We're getting close to that magic kind of 500 number. Maybe I'll have to do something special for you guys, do a little bit sexier giveaway, or get somebody on here to kind of bullshit with me for big episode number 500, but we'll see what happens. So if I'm on 494 today, and this is the 19th, 495, 6, it'll be before the end of September for sure, even if I just went one a week, and some weeks we get a little spicier and do two. And then Heather will be back from her, what I like to call the Heather Summer Tour. A lot of work stuff for her, a lot of personal stuff too. Some business, some fun, but that is coming to an end for her. I believe on Sunday she'll be back in Scottsdale here, and then we'll get her back on the regular. It's been a lot. Travel stuff is always fun, but there comes a point where you've just had enough of other humans and sitting on fart tubes for multiple hours. Because man, I swear some of these flights, people just fart like the whole time, and I feel like you're just breathing in toxic fart gas from people's asses for hours at a time, and that can't be good for you. I don't have the data in front of me, somebody can fact check me, but man, it starts to gross me out at a certain point. And because it's good and bad, right? Like, we're blessed, and it's a gift that you can fly in a metal tube, hundreds of miles an hour to see people that 100 years ago you could never travel to see. And obviously since the pandemic, everybody's kind of doing all their stuff together. So we've had, bachelorette parties, family trips, work trips, and then obviously weddings and things like that coming up. It's all good, but it's a lot. And she's been chewing on it a lot more than me. So she'll be back on the podcast next week for sure. So before we jump into when what you're doing isn't working, just a couple housekeeping things. One, the Jeremy Scott Fitness app has been live now for just over 60 days. So thank all of you guys who are in there. There's a lot of you. I didn't know what to expect, and it's been great. So I appreciate everyone who's in there already. If you guys do not join me in there and you're looking to get fit, have a program to follow, have unlimited ideas, access to me, nutrition programs, grocery store lists, sample meals, smoothie guides, breakdowns on macros, what I personally do for supplements, what I personally do for making meals, JeremyScottFitness.app, it's $1. I think we're going to stop doing that in September, so if you're listening to this still in August, you can do the first month for $1. If you think it sucks, you can dump it. But honestly, we've really eliminated the excuses for people not to be able to get fit and have an idea or a program to follow or somebody to ask. It's literally $1. You waste more money on that every single day on so much bullshit and reoccurring subscriptions you don't even know you have. So we did try to help as many people as possible. I've been putting so much time into it. People who join it tend to stay. Their retention numbers are insanely high because we're putting everything in there. And so we just loaded a cut and jack program on Monday. It's a 2.0 version. It's a program that I personally do at least once per year. We have a 10 weeks to rip program in there, a 30-day at-home Metcon, a 30-day at-home dumbbell, There's a 5-week hybrid program. There's a handful of other programs I've created that will drip out over the course of this year and next year. And then we just wrapped up a summer challenge, which I have to pick a winner probably tomorrow. It's going to be tough. And then our next challenge, September the 12th, it's a 34-day abs and core challenge. You guys will dig it. Anybody can do this. It's an add-on to any program you're currently in. These workouts are going to take anywhere from probably 3 to 15 minutes, give or take, before, during, or after your workout. 34 unique workouts, over 100 different exercises inside of there. So if you're thinking in your head, well, I only know like 25 ab exercises. Most people listening probably know 10. Let's say you know 25. There's 75 additional ones in there that I promise you've never done, and variations you've never seen before, because I'm literally making this shit up as we go, just like the rest of the world. So if you guys want to check it out, jeremyscottfitness.app, you can join. We'll give you a free flight here. So we'll fly you to Scottsdale. We'll put you up for 2 nights at the Savannah Resort and Spa if you win. And inside of that, you can come in here, work out with us. We'll do all that fun stuff. But we're gonna do weekly winners inside the program too. So if you wanna win athletic greens or beam or some of our swag, some of the new t-shirts we've been putting out, hats, hoodies, all that fun stuff, that'll be in there as well. So all that's found inside the app, jeremyscottfitness.app. Links in my Instagram bio. Link is in the show notes here. Check it out. Again, you guys can ask me anything. If you're listening and like, well, I've actually messaged you on Instagram and you replied back. If I'm doing that shit on Instagram, I can promise you in the app, it'll never get missed. I'll answer anything you guys want from me. So check it out today. Also, quick sponsors here. We are brought to you by my friends at Athletic Greens, the one thing I take every single day. You guys already know. If this is your first episode or episode 494, Athletic Greens has been the sponsor. athleticgreens.com/JeremyScott gets you a year's supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first order. You should already be taking vitamin D, and we're giving it to a year for free, and the 5 free travel packs. This covers all the gaps in your nutrition. You still got to eat real food, but this is going to help you get there. 75 whole food ingredients with probiotics, with digestive enzymes, the antioxidant equivalent to 10 to 12 servings of fruits and veggies, and the best tasting greens on the planet. All you do is click the link, order it, and get the year vitamin D and the 5 free packs on me. Now, if you've never tried it and you want to try it, hit me up. I will have Monica send you a free pack right to your front door. You can try it, your wife can try it, your kids can try it, your grandma can try it. Whoever wants it, come get some. And don't be weird, like, well, I really do want to try it, but I don't want to message them. Fucking message us, you guys. That's why I'm saying it. I don't just say it to pretend like I'm trying to help you. We're trying to get it in your hands so you can try it. I will pay to send it to you, and I'll give it to you for free. Try it for yourself. Understands the best tasting greens on the planet. Throw away all your 14 other bullshit pills. Take this, and life is easy. athleticgreens.com/JeremyScott. Otherwise, hit me up for a free sample today. Also, same deal applies for our Beam products. I take the Beam CBD Dream product to go to sleep probably 5 or 6 nights a week. I don't take it every night because some nights I want to stay up late, and by late I mean like 10 p.m. Although the UFC has a main card on Saturday, so I might be up till 11. It's gonna be a rough Sunday Metcon. Anyways, I do take this 5 or 6 nights a week to go to sleep. There's no THC in it. You won't get high. It's not habit forming. You don't wake up feeling groggy. It just helps you get to sleep and stay asleep. And the older I get, I find that I really need it because either my brain turns on, which before never happened because I was super dumb, and now I'm just like a little bit dumb, and my brain will start to wander, and not always like in a negative way, but just in I have ideas where I get inspired and I want to write something down, or I'm thinking of something and it's 2:25 in the morning, and I shouldn't be up that early. So taking the Beam products helps me kind of eliminate that. I have way less disturbances in my sleep. I wake up feeling good, ready to kick ass. So if you guys want a free sample of the Beam, hit us up. We'll send that right to your front door too. We got some bigger packs. So if you and the family want to try it, you and your wife, if she has sleep issues, or husband, or vice versa, or partner, we'll get it to you. Otherwise, beamtlc.com. You can put in the code Jeremy Scott. It'll get you 20% off all products, 35% off all subscriptions. But if you want a free sample, message me today and we'll get that to you. See if it helps you sleep, and if you like it, use the discount code and get hooked up with a bunch of stuff on a major discount, because getting 35% off stuff is a pretty sweet deal, especially with the inflationary shit show that we're all living through. And our other sponsors, you guys know, Dry Farm Wines, dryfarmwines.com/JeremyScottFitness. You can buy a bottle of wine, get the next bottle for a penny. I don't know anything about wine, but Heather tells me it's legit, so if you want to try it, that is the code. It's in the show notes. Also, my friends at Sleeves Sold Separately, sleevessoldseparately.com. You can put in the code JScott15 for 15% off. That's the same joggers, hoodies, and t-shirts I wear in most of our videos. I love the pants. I basically take them with me everywhere I go. I wear them every day. I think I have like 8 pairs now. And I got some other funky colors too. He sent me a gray pair and a blue pair, but they're a little risque. So we'll see if those make an appearance here in some videos soon. And our friends at Kettle and Fire Bone Broth. This is our favorite bone broth. The link is in the show notes. You can put in the code Scott20 for 20% off everything there. And then last but not least, our friends at JLab Pro, JeremyScottFitness.jlabpro.com. This is where we get our protein, turmeric, collagen, and our krill oils. Right now they have a sale on the collagen, I think until Sunday night, 20% off if you want to check it out. I was originally going to do this podcast on just collagen, but this seemed more pressing today. I have a very detailed one on collagen and how it's kind of like the glue that holds everything together. And as we age, how it drastically declines, and you should probably supplement with it because you're probably not eating enough with all real food. But that's for an episode maybe next week or shortly after this one. So if you want to check it out, JeremyScottFitness.jlabpro.com. Protein, turmeric, collagen, krill oils, and we always have discounts on the protein and the turmeric, and right now we have it on the collagen as well. And if you guys want any of our guides, we have so many guides. They're all now loaded inside of our app, so you could go in there and get them for $1. Smoothie guides, high protein pack recipe guides, sample meal plans, macro guides, you name it. We loaded it in there and made it look extra sexy just for you. Now, I got this message from my homie, Travis Merritt. And Travis is the man. And he's out in Texas. I've talked about Trav before in here many times. He was in my mastermind group for many years. I learned a lot from him, and hopefully he learned some things from me. If nothing else, maybe what not to do in certain instances. But he's a good dude, great coach. And he put out this piece just kind of talking about what to do when things aren't working. Now I'm going to tie this in a couple different directions here. And just kind of kick it real to you guys like I tend to. Because it's tough. Obviously, with all of the factors that are going on in your life, and I'm not trying to downplay those. I'm not going to sit here and say I realize what it's like sitting in your shoes, because I don't. You don't know what it's like to be me. I don't know what it's like to be you. Even my fitness friends who kind of all live this, unique, weird life that I live, we all have our own island, right? My island is mine. Nikki's is Nikki's, Ben's is Ben's, BJ has his own island. And while they all might be similar, we're all different in that regard as well. And it's the same for you. Like your struggles with your husband or wife and your partner, or your struggles with your kids, or with your career, or your parents, or your grandparents, or the economy, whatever it may be. They're going to be different for everybody. We all have, different beds, if you will, and we got to sleep in them, for better or for worse, whether we made them ourselves or somebody kind of made it and we wandered into it. Your struggle is your struggle. And I don't want to sit here and say I know what it's like, because I don't. However, at some point, you got to be willing to just either push through the bullshit or get rid of the bullshit if you really want to make a change in your overall health. And I'm going to talk about the physical body here, but I mean, when I say health, and when I say fitness, your physical, your mental, your spiritual, and your emotional. All those things make up how healthy you are. And if you've been training for any amount of time, sometimes you're going to hit roadblocks with your progress. And you might get into this kind of plateau, is a popular word, where week after week, nothing seems to change. Your clothes kind of fit the same, the scale says the same thing, the numbers in the gym kind of stay the same, and it feels like nothing's really ever going to move. One, it's not always true. Sometimes we're just looking at the wrong metrics, but let's say you're actually being a realist and you're looking across the board and you feel you're just kind of spinning your wheels. And if you're a person who's ever kind of hit that area, there is a process that you can do to kind of get out of that rut. But before that, let me kind of draw this picture or paint it for you on the most basic level. And this is what a lot of people don't really want to hear when it comes to reality, honestly. I get a lot of kids who message me, and I say kids, I just mean people who I assume are younger than me, because I'm getting older these days, as you guys know. In terms of business, right? In terms of building a business, building a clientele, building up an email list, building up social media, building up their net worth, if you will. And it's little things. It's the little daily habits stacked on top of each other, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Doing something with a delayed gratification. And someone goes, Jeremy, well, how did you get here? I'm like, well, I just showed up one day, and I showed up the next day, and I showed up the next day, and I never fucking turned it off. And I refused to quit. And I just figured, I'm like, well, if I don't quit, I'm not gonna lose. I'm gonna win, or I'm gonna be successful, whatever that meant to me, and I'm gonna be further along. It's like, how do you run a marathon? It's one step at a time. Some people are quicker, some people are slower, but you're gonna get to the end if you just keep taking the steps. And so I always ask people, if you're stuck, how do you lose 100 pounds? If that's what you got to lose. How do you gain 20 pounds of muscle? Well, it's just 1 pound at a time. You lose or you add a few ounces every day. And you do that today, and then you do that tomorrow, and then you do that the day after that. It's how do you get out of $100,000 of credit card debt? How do you pay off your house? How do you get rid of your student loans? Well, a couple dollars today, a couple dollars tomorrow, a couple dollars a day after that. And that, my friends, is the truth. And that is also the best answer that nobody wants to fucking hear. They just don't. I don't have a magic answer for you for anything, because everything that I've ever done or got has taken me a ridiculous amount of time, and I probably could have done it faster if I was a little bit smarter, but you deal with the cards you got, right? Most people, especially in this life, and I think, and I talk about fitness and finance here a lot, because obviously they're two things that I'm passionate about. They're two things that matter to me, and I understand what both of them do if you're willing to use them the right way. And I also understand what both of them do when you use them the wrong way. And I think this is the same thing for money with the get rich quick shit, and it's the same thing with the get fit quick shit. People want to get fit quick. People want to get rich quick. I've never met anyone who's got rich and stayed that way for decades super quick. I'm sure they are out there, I just don't know them. And I know a lot of fucking people. I've never met anybody who's got super fit, like truly fit on all four pillars, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, super quickly, and stayed that way for decades. In terms of not just aesthetically how they look, but how they move, how they feel, and their performance. Most people would rather spend the next 3 to 6 months looking for a magic way to get rich than actually do the fucking work. Most people would rather spend the next 3 to 6 months looking for some magic way to lose weight or gain muscle than simply just get better day after day after day for the same 3 to 6 months. Which do you think is going to work better? The looking for the super fast, efficient route, or just, for better for worse, putting on your fucking work boots and just going to work every day? You just have to commit to doing the work. You just do. That's the first thing. If nothing else, from anything I say here today, from like how to break out of this, is just commit to doing the work, the hard shit. Stop looking for the easy route. Stop looking for the lottery ticket. Stop looking for the magic fucking pill, and just commit to doing the work today. And commit to doing it tomorrow. And commit to doing it the next day. And put some guardrails in your life that allow you to be successful and will help you get there. If you commit to getting up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning and working out by 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., I promise you, you're less likely to fill your body full of bullshit all night because you know you're committed to getting up the next day. If you have a group, if you have a coach, if you have a trainer, if you've made a public declaration or a promise to somebody else that you'll be there, you'll show up. If nothing else, you should do it for yourself, but if you can't do it for that, do it for the people who are relying on you. If it's your workout partner, if it's your training group, or if it's somebody you're paying, you want to show up because they showed up for you. That's the first thing I'm going to say. From there, you got to track your food. If you really find yourself struggling, and this is what nobody wants to hear, and again, if you have some kind of, eating disorder or something else going on, this doesn't apply to you. I'm talking to the average person here listening. You got to track your food for a couple days. After 1, 2, 3, 4 days, some people maybe need more, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. Between probably 3 and 10 days is ideal. You're going to get an idea of what's going on. Are you overeating the foods that are not serving you? And are you undereating the foods that are serving you? Are you overeating in terms of calories, but undereating in terms of micronutrients? Are you undernourished? Are you eating enough protein? Are you drinking too much alcohol? You'll get the answers pretty quickly. And it's pretty daunting when you actually look at it on something like a MyFitnessPal, and you can see the proteins, carbs, and fats, the sugars, the fiber, how much you're putting in. You can solve a lot of problems when you write things down. You can go back and audit and look at what you're doing. Well, I ate this and I felt this way. Okay, that's why. I didn't eat enough of this and I was craving that. Okay, that's why. I actually had 5 glasses of wine when I thought I only had 3. And be realistic with your pours. Be realistic with your portions. And I'm not saying be so neurotic you got to weigh and measure every single thing your entire life, but you got to do a little bit of work. Like, you got to do a little bit of work here to really dig down and find the answers. You need to create a roadmap. We need a GPS to get from point A to point B. We just do. And if you're listening and saying, well, Jeremy, I just don't have time to track my food. I can't do that. That's just too much work. And it's too annoying and I don't want to do it. Then fuck it, don't. And don't get the results. Keep doing what you've been doing and you'll keep getting what you've been getting. I don't know. I'm not trying to be like, in your ass here when I say that, but fuck, dude. Like, do you think I wanted to come in here today and do deadlifts and split squats and push the sled? I mean, kind of, because I'm a masochist, I guess, and I hate myself some days. But no, I didn't want to fucking do that. I could have just stayed at home, watched Captain America, and petted my dog for the same 3 hours. Would have been way more fun. And sat there and just ate Doritos and drank Mountain Dew and played, fucking duck hunt like I was 10 years old. But that's not going to get me where I want to go. That's not going to make me feel the way I want to feel. That's me wasting a gift. Shitting on something that I was given to by God or the universe or source energy. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and have like eater's remorse and drinker's remorse and be like, well, I really wish I would have done that. I want to do the most of my opportunity and my time. And I'm not saying you have to be a psychopath like me, but you got a gift, man. Don't waste it. And don't give it to your company. I'm not saying be shitty at your job, but don't give it away to some company who'd replace you in 15 fucking seconds if you drop dead. Don't give them the best years of your life and don't give them all of your health and happiness and your mental capacity. Save some for yourself. Because when you're healthier and happier and you move better and you feel better and you spend some time tracking your food, I promise you, those same work emails are going to be there. Those same deadlines are going to be there, but you can allot a couple minutes to track what you're doing. I promise you the payoff is huge. The next thing, add up how much time you're working out each week. Are you going to the gym twice a week, 3 times a week, 7 times a week? How many hours total? How many minutes of exercise are you doing? Is it 2 hours? Is it 3 hours? Is it 7 hours? How many steps do you take a day? 2,000, 5,000, 10,000? There are many cases where people just need to be more active. And I'm not saying everybody, some of you guys, I think some of the people in the app honestly work out way more than I do, which is actually fucking crazy because I do this for a living. I don't know where you guys get the energy, but bless your hearts. I don't do just like the bare minimum. I push myself, obviously, but at this point, I'm not, 17 years old. So I really make sure my Friday doesn't steal from my Saturday and my Wednesday doesn't steal from my Thursday. I want to beat the shit out of myself, but within reason, right? Like, I don't want to walk in here feeling like I get hit by a Mack truck every day. I don't want my fitness to steal my fitness. But very few of you are in that boat. I mean, I'm here most days, a majority of the day. And if not, I'm working from home. I'm walking my dog. I'm riding the bike in between stuff. I'm getting my steps in. I'm doing what I have to do. And I could have the tendency to overtrain at times. I definitely have before. But most people, that's not the case. If you are stuck in a rut or at a plateau and you're exercising for 90 minutes a week, I think you could bump that up to 2 hours or 2.5 hours or 3 hours. You could double the activity. If you get 5,000 steps a day, you could double that to 10,000 steps a day. If you go to the gym 3 times a week, but every other day you don't do anything else outside of that, go for a couple of walks for a couple of hours. That can be the thing that moves the needle. The next thing, your hormones. This matters. Getting a blood panel and a hormone panel done on what's going on in your body, this is huge for most people. This is something you need to do. If you're not doing a physical at least once a year, just be an adult and do some adult shit. And trust me, guys, I hate doing adult stuff more than anybody. Heather is gone, so I was doing laundry today, and I was doing dishes today, and I actually had to deal with our sprinkler system, and I don't know what's going on, so all I did was just unplug it. Thank God it turned off. I met with our neighbor, and I'm doing all these like adult things. I walked our dog super early. That I do love. The rest of that stuff I fucking hate doing, and so does she. But guess what? You're adults, and kids are gonna do what feels good in the moment always. Adults do what they have to do, and this isn't an adult thing. Stop putting it off. Your work is not more important than what's going on inside your body. I don't care what you do for a living. I don't give a shit. It doesn't. Again, this is called Jeremy Scott Fitness, and if I drop dead, I got a feeling it would cease to exist for very long. Even that, I'm not going to give these guys everything and not make an appointment to go get a yearly physical. I'm going to go get my blood work done. If there's something happening inside of your body, you have to be aware of it. And again, I'm not a doctor, but this is something that is not discussed enough. Getting your blood checked, getting your hormones checked, and knowing where they're supposed to be shows you what's going on inside of your body before you see what happens on the outside. It controls your emotions. It controls your sex drive. It controls and regulates how you're going to become lean or build muscle or not be able to do those things. If you're a female and your hormones are off, it's going to be a shit show. If you're a dude and your hormones are off and you're trying to, let's say, build muscle or even get lean for that matter, it's like ice skating uphill, dude. If you're a guy and your testosterone is supposed to be, let's say, 600 and it's, 85, you probably are struggling, sexually for one, but two, you're not going to build muscle, dude. You're going to be weak, frail in comparison. You're not going to have the same, how do I say it, like swagger you'd have if your hormones were normal. Like, this is everything. So please get those checked. And if your stuff is not where it's supposed to be, there's things in place that can help you. From there, if you just did those 3 things, track the food, literally look at how many minutes or hours you're exercising a week and getting your blood and your hormones kind of checked, that is a great place to jumpstart you back to making progress. But we can touch on a couple of guidelines inside of that if you want to go deeper here, right? So those are the 3 things I would do. If you're listening to me, things aren't where they want to be, track your food, see how much you're exercising, get your blood work done, just do a yearly physical. I've talked about this in here, but I think I've talked about this in here before. I forget what's on the podcast and what's just with people in passing, but I have a lot of physicians here and a lot of doctors, and some of them have not had a physical in years. And I don't just mean like 2 years. I mean like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus years of a physician who is a medical doctor who practices medicine, not getting a physical. that works in a hospital. That's fucking nuts. If they're not doing it, I got a good feeling some of you listening aren't doing it. I'm telling you, it can save you guys. Because then you'll go and be like, oh, maybe that's why this is not happening for me. That's why I'm struggling so much. So once those 3 things are done, look at the food you're putting in your body. The calories obviously matter. But where the calories come from also matter. This is very important here. Make sure that a good number of your calories are coming from real, kind of natural foods. Pick a percentage, 75, 80, 85, 90%, at least 75 at the minimum. Most of you guys, I'd say closer to 80, 85, 90 from real food. You're gonna see a difference when you switch from, processed bullshit and just protein bars and stuff to actually eating real food. You're gonna self-regulate eating real food way better. I've talked about this on here many times. You're not gonna overeat on Brussels sprouts. You're just not gonna do it. You're not gonna overeat on asparagus. On mini donuts and Doritos, 100% you will. Been there myself. So just look at the calories, understand the macros, and focus on eating real food. And we have all these free resources for you, or free. All these resources are inside the app. You can get it for $1. So basically it's free. $1 nowadays is like a penny when I was a fucking kid. So people, you'd burn $1, wouldn't even notice it. You throw it out the window, it doesn't mean anything. You can get all that inside of there. Obviously we have a ton of free resources here on the podcast too, but that's gonna be key. The second thing, in terms of movement, physical activity. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Movement's medicine. It really is. A lot of the problems in my life have been solved by just moving around. I know that sounds overly simplistic, but it's the truth, man. And I don't just mean, I think sometimes when people listen to a fitness person, I guess, if you will, like myself, who looks a certain way, they think it's just this vanity-driven thing, and it's not. Now, don't get me wrong. I like looking like Rambo. It's important to me. I dig it. I think, looking like Rocky is fucking cool. Who doesn't want to be jacked and tan? It's great. But that's not what I mean here. Movement has made me healthier mentally in every way possible. From being a young kid playing sports to giving me confidence, built a social circle of friends around it. And my closest relationships in life, you guys, all came from sports. Every single one. If I named the 10 people closest to me that are not like my mom and dad, it's all sports. Shit, the first couple of dates Heather and I went on, we went hiking Camelback and we played basketball. I think that's like our date number 2 and 3. If she wasn't into this life, I don't know if it would have worked out. And that's I'm not saying that in a negative way. I think the same of her. Like if I was just like, a frumpy bag of shit, she's not going to marry me because we don't have these same common interests. It's hard enough getting over the country music she plays all the time. But the point is that it's given me everything. Movement solves so many problems. I was just on a text last night actually about, if you guys remember the show One Tree Hill, I actually got a jersey coming. Because my buddy sends me this, he's wearing a Lucas Scott jersey. If you guys don't know the show, go watch it. It used to be on SoapNet when I was living in my buddy's house when I moved here, in my golden era when I had no job, but I would watch 6 hours of SoapNet a night. I was a fucking loser, but man, I had a great time. And anyways, he sends us this text. He's wearing this fictional high school jersey, Lucas Scott, for the Tree Hill Ravens. And that started a text thread with another friend of mine who actually I lived with when I was down here. And it went on for probably a good 30 minutes. And I thought about that. I'm like, these two dudes are so close to me. We're having this full-on detailed conversation about One Tree Hill. And we're all like middle-aged men. They're both older than me, so they're in their 40s. And it's about One Tree Hill and other inappropriate shit and hip-hop music and basketball. And I thought of this and I go, I've known these dudes since I was probably fucking 10 years old. And I met them in a YMCA playing basketball. And if I would have been just a turd on the court, we wouldn't have been friends. And vice versa for them. It's this thing that bonded us. And that is sport. That is fitness. And so when I say it's done so much for me, it's been a release for me in every way possible. Not just for my physical body, but mentally for me, and emotionally too. The fact that I can do these things with my body still at this age, dunk a basketball, run a mile under 6 minutes, still deadlift 500 pounds, like, I derive a lot of confidence from that, and it matters to me. And I think the same thing for you guys. When you can find a group of people, now I don't have the same, I'm not in college anymore, my college teammates, still a lot of them great friends of mine, we don't play basketball anymore like that. I'm not in a basketball league, I'm not in a kickball league, I'm not in a softball league, I just don't have the time for it. But my people here now, fitness has become that for me. Our Sunday Advanced Metcons have become that. And movement can be that for you. I didn't want to get on a rant there, but I mean, like, it means everything to me. That's why I talk about it this way. And even the CDC, whether you love or hate them guys, and again, I've got my own opinion about some of the bullshit, they recommend for health reasons that the average person gets in about 5 hours a week of activity. 2 30-minute kind of strength-ish sessions and 4 hours dedicated cardiovascular sessions. Now, these dudes don't know what the fuck Metcon is, and they don't really know what strength training is, or probably even their version of cardio is probably much different than I would suggest. But even with that said, as much shit as these assholes have gotten wrong, sorry everybody if I'm offending you, they recommend 5 hours a week. So if these dudes are saying 5 hours a week, 2 like legit face melters, plus a couple hours of walking, I think that's a great place to start. And again, that's not just health we're talking about here. We're talking about so many things that go into that. Community, the social aspect of it, all those things are wrapped up into fitness that will help you lose weight or gain muscle or transform your body. Again, there's many layers to this. The point is you gotta move your body more. You really do. And if you can find something you love, especially with people you like, you're gonna be so successful because it won't feel like work. You won't dread going there. There's so many people who come here to our facility at 6 o'clock in the morning, some out of necessity, right? Because they know they have to do it because they're responsible adults and they're doing things that they know they need to do, but it's the people that are here. There's gonna be some friends here that they can talk to. They can bitch about the workout and me together. They can bullshit with each other. They can share, this common bond and thread. And I think the same thing happens in the app. These guys all talk shit about me and the workouts that I put together, and there's a camaraderie there digitally. It matters, but you're all joining in unison to be fitter and move more together. That's the key. And again, touching on the third point with the blood panel. When you guys go do that, and you do it consistently, whether it's once a year, twice a year, I'd suggest if you can do twice, do twice. If your insurance covers one, just obviously do one. It's a compass. It's gonna point you in the right direction. If you check your hormones, it's gonna tell you what's going on and what needs to be improved or fixed or where things lie based on obviously what the levels are and how you feel. And you get those checked and you know where your numbers should be. And that way, eventually, if you put in the work in terms of training and eating and you get quality sleep, you're gonna look and feel the way that you want to. When people say normal now, normal sucks. I'm sorry. Normal just means you're sick. Normal means you're average. Normal means you're overweight. Normal means you don't really fucking try. Optimal is where you want to be. Now, I don't mean optimal like you're, 40 plus years old and you're, Tom Brady or you're Randy Couture fighting in the UFC when he's like 45 years old, I think he was. Like, that's optimal for them. Optimal for you in your life, in your goals, in your own situation. But don't just be normal. Don't do what normal people do. Normal people don't exercise. Normal people don't move. Normal people don't give a shit about their body or their life or their happiness, and they're okay with just taking life as it comes and kind of just playing the victim and being stuck in the same fucking hamster wheel. And I don't want that for you guys. That's normal. Optimal is you maximizing your potential and your happiness each and every single day. And before I jump into the final facts here, you need to look at your lifestyle. I touched on this earlier quickly. You need to look at your lifestyle and all the things that you consume every day. I'll put this out on Instagram probably early next week. Because I was walking outside yesterday, sweating my ass off. And I tend to have at least a shred of a good idea when that's happening. Maybe it's the heat, or the me trying to mentally hide from doing the lunges out in the parking lot. But I thought of this with people as I was doing that. I don't want to do it. I was tired. I wanted to go home. I had shit to do. But I committed to doing something and made a promise to myself that I was going to do these lunges for 20 minutes with the weight vest on, and that's what I did. And I had this just thought in my head about people just kind of quitting on themselves because they have not created an environment that allows them to be successful. And that's what I mean by you got to look at your lifestyle. And you got to look at your diet. And I don't just mean the diet that you eat. I mean the diet of everything that you consume in your day, in your week, in your month. All the things. You consume news. That's part of your diet. You consume friends. It's part of your diet. You consume work. It's part of your diet. You tolerate shit from your boss, from your coworkers, from your friends, from your family, from your spouse. You have to ask yourself, are the things I'm consuming, is my diet, and not just the food I put in my body, but everything else I put in my body, that come through my eyes, that come through my ears, that you let into your heart, if you want to go that route, is it helping you or is it hurting you health-wise? Ask yourself, what's most important? What's the most important shit in your life? I do a speech where I talk to groups, and we're starting to do those again here. I just got one contracted for, I think it's actually September. It'll be the first time I spoke to a group since, spoke to a group in person, I should say, since the pandemic, which, man, yeah, the last 2 years just sucked, dude. And I always ask, what's the 5 most important things in your life? And then what's the 5 things you spend the most time doing? And those things almost never add up for anybody. What I'm saying is people will say, well, it's my health, it's my family, yet they spend the most time worrying about other dumb shit or doing other low return activities. And I'm not saying quit your job and just exercise all day and hang out with your kids, but there's a balance there and a synergy there, and you have to draw that. You got to ask yourself, what is most important? What is the best for your health, your physical health, your mental health, and your emotional health? And what's the best for your happiness? Still work at your job, still work your face off and do good work, do the best to your ability, but you don't owe these people 100 hours a week. Unless you love it and you're happy and it gives you something and it's fulfilling. But if you're just doing it to impress somebody, if you're just doing it to climb the ladder, if you're just doing it for a couple more bucks, but it's making you sick, it's making you unhealthy, it's making you feel bad, it's taking away from your overall happiness, and you don't like the way that you look and move and feel, and you don't like your schedule and your lifestyle, what the fuck's this about, man? Like, what are we really doing here? And I throw that in just for the fact of that's the biggest thing for most people. This is a lifestyle. It's not just a program. It's not just a diet. It's not just come to Jeremy Scott Fitness in person. It's not just downloading an app. It's not just joining a challenge or a program that I put out. I'm trying to get you to not make fitness your life, but make fitness a part of your life that enriches it and doesn't steal from it. And a lot of times your job is stealing from you. You know, drinking booze is stealing from you. Eating shit consistently is stealing from you. Your lifestyle is stealing from your happiness. It might make you feel good in the moment, but not long term. And that's not a sustainable way to live. Eventually something's going to crack and something's going to give, whether it's your physical health or your mental health or both. And I don't want you guys to get there. The other facts I want to touch on here, and again, I'm not trying to get super serious on you. I know I talk about things like this a lot, but I see it here. I don't know how much is enough for everybody. I don't know how rich you got to be. I don't know how fancy of a job title you got to have. I don't know what's worth it and what's not worth it to you. But what I do know is, if you're not happy with the way that you're moving and looking and feeling, that is something that is more than likely in your control. And if you made some lifestyle adjustments, it could change everything. I know a lot of people, if they took a less stressful job and made a little bit less money, they'd be way fucking happier and way fitter and way healthier. But they feel like they're stuck and they feel like they can't do that, but that's not the case for most people. A lot of times you can downgrade job title and maybe take a slight pay cut and live in a less fancy house and drive a little bit older car to have a higher quality of life. Again, that's just me speaking here. I'm not telling you what to do, but look at it and see if there aren't some changes you can make. And I want to bring Heather on and talk about that more in depth, because there's certain things that we could do where it would steal from each other, and it would steal from me, and it would steal from her, and I think it would steal from our happiness. And we've had open conversations about that, and that's something that I'll bring her on, but it's for a different episode. My point is the other facts I want to talk about before I let you go. One, if you're not where you want to be, stop program jumping. Just stop doing that shit. Stop looking for the holy grail. Stop trying to find the perfect program and just do something consistently. That's it. Just consistently show up and put in the work. I get messages from people all the time. Hey, Jeremy, I was on so-and-so's program, and then I tried so-and-so's program. And a lot of times when they do that, like, I know the people's programs they were on, and they're great programs. Fucking great. Sometimes they're friends of mine. Like people who I would vouch for and I would send people to, and stuff that I would follow. Well, I tried it and it just sucked. It just didn't work, and I know that's bullshit. And they're like, well, I want to join your stuff. And I'm like, well, don't. Because now you're just going to talk shit about me in 3 months or 6 months to the next person. Don't be a program jumper. Don't go from program to program, gym to gym. Again, try something. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it, but give it some time. See things through. And a lot of times people blame the program, or they blame the coach, and sometimes that's the case. Sometimes the program is not the right fit for them, or it sucks, or they hate the coach and the personality don't fit. I get all that. But for most people, just consistently doing something is better than searching for the perfect program. Just consistently showing up. I'll go back to what we talked about earlier. Just put in the work today. Put in the work tomorrow. Put in the work the day after tomorrow, and keep doing that consistently. That's gonna bring the biggest results, as opposed to searching for the perfect fit. The next thing, be honest with your effort, both inside of the gym and outside of the gym. How do I say this? People, because of a lot of the trackers and the watches and the apps and stuff, and I'm not saying don't use them. I wear a little cheap step counter here just to see where my steps are at each day. I don't have a fancy Apple Watch. That's for you super rich folks out there. Plus, I don't want my watch ringing like a phone, like I'm fucking James Bond here. I need less people harassing me, not more. And be less accessible, not more accessible. The point, I use a cheap step counter. But a lot of people out there have these fancy watches that'll tell them when their exercise ring is closed, or they'll tell them when they, are done doing something, or they'll tell them how much work they put in. I'm not saying those aren't true. Those things are probably much smarter than me. However, we overestimate how much effort we put into workouts, and we underestimate how much food and booze we put in our body. I'll say it again. We underestimate how much food and booze goes into our body, and we overestimate how hard we're training in the gym. Most people don't even tap into probably like 70% of their capacity. I would argue that's most fitness people. Most average people don't even do they don't do anything. So like the above average person, maybe 50% of their capacity, but a lot of people don't even touch 70 to 80% of what they're capable of. They have no idea how deep of waters they can swim in, and they've never visited their pain cave. And I'm not saying you should do that all the time, and I'm not saying it should be this painful, miserable experience. However, how do you know your limits if you never test them, right? I'm not saying go try to deadlift 800 pounds right now, but you can test yourself. You can push yourself a little bit. And what people also do is they overestimate how much progress they can make in 3 months or 6 months. And they underestimate how much progress they can make in 1, 2, or 3 years. And that's really what it is. You have to be willing to put in the work for delayed gratification. And that goes for business, that goes for investing, it goes honestly for your relationship, and it sure as fuck goes for fitness. You're gonna be doing stuff today that's probably not gonna pay off for a year. And you gotta be okay with that. And every dude I meet who's young wants to do everything. They wanna be more shredded and bigger muscles at the same time, and they want to do it in 6 months. And they somehow think that magically in their body that it can be done. It cannot, my friends. If you're like at the novice level, sure. If you're, super obese, sure, maybe. But beyond those two things, it's not going to happen. You just got to be willing to commit to something. We say this here all the time. People want, microwave results, but it's a crock pot world, dude. You just got to let that sit, marinate, and that's okay. And understand that the compound effect works both ways in terms of the booze you drink. It adds up. 2 glasses of wine every day for 365 days. It's a lot of booze, you guys. And you're having 700-800 drinks a year. That's a lot. And that's a lot over the course of 2 years and 3 years and 5 years. Now you're talking thousands of drinks. I'm not saying you can't drink alcohol, but the compound effect is real. Cheating on your, quote unquote diet and starting over every single Monday adds up to 52 Mondays, to 104 Mondays, to 208 Mondays. You know what I'm saying? Like, the compound effect works both ways. The same way if you skip a couple happy hours, that compounds in the positive direction. If you get your steps in, if you do 5 minutes of mobility every single day for 30 days, think about that. And I know it's tough because in all social settings, we're surrounded by food and booze. We really are. The older I get, the more I travel and the more I, am in different settings with people socially, I really have come to realize it. And obviously for Heather doing what she does for work, being exposed to some of the nicest, resorts around the world and what they do in terms of food and beverage and how they spoil people and being at, restaurant openings and kind of in that hospitality, environment, it's everywhere. It's all the time. It's inundated. It's at a scale I've never seen before. I don't know if I talked about this on here the other day, but I remember just being a kid where it's like, there's probably like 3 beers, right? Like when I'm a kid, it's like Budweiser, Miller Lite, and like Old Milwaukee in the Midwest. And then now it's like, there's 500 beers. It's just endless choices. Like when I'm a kid, maybe I can remember like 3 or 4 different kinds of donuts. Now they're in Scottsdale, there's like 50 donut shops, and each one of them has like 100 different donuts. And that's every single place. And it's amazing and it's wonderful and it's an awesome culinary experience and you should enjoy food, and I get all that shit. However, it can't be all day, every day. 80% of your food should be from real, whole, nutrient-dense foods, at least. And the other 20% is where you can kind of do your thing, but it compounds, man. And it's tough to go to birthday parties and graduations and weddings, and here's a celebration for Rick and for Susie, and we're going to do this, and then we're going to take a vacation here, and it's like all of a sudden you add up the days and you're like, fuck, that's 100 days out of the year. Or I fill my body with a bunch of bullshit. I'm not saying cut all those out, but map them out, be mindful of them, plan them out ahead of time, see what's coming down the horizon. And if you got 3 days of social stuff with friends and you go a little bit crazy, maybe don't go crazy on your own. Stay within reason on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday is, so-and-so's anniversary and we're all getting together to celebrate. Then enjoy yourself. But then Sunday, get back on. Because if we don't map those days out, we don't audit them, things tend to unravel and not in a positive direction. That's where tracking comes into play. That's where kind of auditing and mapping things out comes into play. So if you're not seeing the results you want and you're kind of stuck, that might be one of the biggest things holding you back, is this, I guess, unscheduled social agenda you have going on. I'm not saying don't have fun, but be mindful of those decisions when you go places and do what you have to do to stay within your calorie and macro ranges and stay on track towards your goals. Because if you never map those days out, you guys, and you just let yourself get into an environment and go buck fucking wild every time, more than likely you're gonna fail. You just are. You're not gonna see things through. You're not gonna put yourself in the right mindset to be successful in those situations time after time. The other 2 things I want to leave you with before we go is, 1, just know it's tough. It's tough to keep making progress. It's tough to stay on track. if you don't have some goals or some kind of North Star pushing you forward, something that cuts real deep, that means something to you. And everybody who's successful has a really important North Star or a really important why, or this, external motivator that pulls you out of bed and makes you do it. Because anybody who's fit, that there's a certain amount of principles, there's a certain amount of rules, there is a certain goal that they have in mind that they're trying to achieve or maintain moving forward. It didn't happen by accident. Unearned success is a lie, my friends. It doesn't fucking happen. If you started out assuming that the path to being super fit and being super healthy was easy, you're mistaken. These things are earned. They are not given. And once they're earned, you have to keep earning it day after day after day after day. And the crazy thing is, it just gets harder and harder and harder because you're getting older and older and older. And we all feel it, man. But you got to give a fuck more and more and more. And the more you care, the better you're going to be. The better decisions you make, the harder you're going to train, the smarter you're going to train, the more mobility you'll do, the better sleep you'll get, the more you're going to push away bullshit decisions and make better choices. The path is not easy, but it requires you to put in the work and earn it day after day after day. And no, you'll never have more time in your life than you do right now. I say this a lot. You'll never have more time in your life than you do right now, because time, my friends, is life. Time is life. We all have less of it today than we did yesterday. So quit wasting it making excuses, saying tomorrow, breaking promises to yourself. Stop wasting it doing things that are not getting you closer to where you want to be. And please stop wasting it doing things that are actually taking you further away than where you want to be. Otherwise, the sad reality that's going to happen is you're going to look up and it's going to be a year later or 3 years later or a decade later, and that's going to have passed. And it will be even that much fucking harder to make the changes, to break the habits and pull yourself out of a hole that's 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds overweight. 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand in debt. Or you're that much further away from your partner or spouse in your relationship because you didn't do the fucking things you had to do. You were just wasting time saying next Monday or next month or next year you'll do it. Don't let a year go by. Don't let 3 years go by or 5 years go by. And God forbid you let a decade go by where you just took a shit on your health, chasing other stuff that wasn't important, or not doing the things today you need to do to put yourself in a position to be financially successful, or make a better relationship with your husband or wife, or with your kids, or work more on a skill so you could get out of your shitty job, or advance in your career if it's important. But don't do any of these things at the cost of you being healthy. The healthier you are as an individual, mentally, physically, spiritually, the healthier and the more successful you're going to be outside of that arena. Your fitness inside the gym is about so much more than sets and reps and how strong you are. You build a emotional strength and you build a mental strength that calluses your mind to handle anything that comes your way. And those lessons you learn inside of those walls allow everything on the outside of those walls to be that much better. But it doesn't happen if you're not willing to put in the work and really do some of these basic foundational things I just mentioned. So, when what you're doing isn't working, take these pieces and put them into play. And the sooner you do that consistently, I promise you, the sooner results will start to happen again. And you're probably going to reach levels that you never even thought possible. So, other than my One Tree Hill rant, I think we stayed on track here today. So, take that for it as you guys. If you have a friend or family member who is struggling and things aren't working and they're at a plateau, or they've hit a roadblock, or they just seem like they're in a rut and they're not putting in the work, send this to them. I think it can help. It's just a hard truth we all have to hear. And I'm not perfect by any means. There's things that I do, and I'll beat my head against the wall, and I'm like, you know what, why isn't this working? And I have to look at it from an outsider, maybe message a coach or a friend of mine and talk to some of my peers. I'm like, okay, let me change this up. Let me try this instead. And that kind of breaks out of the funk. And then I get this whole new, I guess, kind of renewed momentum towards everything that I want. So again, if you guys are on Apple Podcasts, drop it a 5-star, leave a comment. I truly would appreciate it. It means a lot to us. Selfishly, it helps us. If you're on Spotify, you can also leave a 5-star on Spotify now, which is super cool. Thank you guys for doing that. If you've done it on one but not the other, do it on both. I thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you guys. Again, you guys can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's 100% for free. Jeremy Scott Fitness on YouTube. If you want a free pack of athletic greens, hit me up. Don't feel weird. Just ask. I'm happy to send it. If you want a free pack of the Beam CBD, hit me up. I'm happy to send that as well. All the other podcast sponsors are in the show notes. Again, inside the Jeremy Scott Fitness app, it's just $1 to start. All of our guides are in there. Again, pick it up, you guys. We're trying to help you. I do it all for free, but people don't value free shit. So at least if you have a little bit of skin in the game, we can talk to you, we can help you, and we can keep putting on awesome stuff for you. And again, inside the app, the Cut and Jack program just launched on Monday the 15th. You guys are more than welcome to join that with me. And our next challenge is September the 12th, a 34-day core and abs challenge. The website is almost done. Should have it by Monday, and then I'll throw all of that on Instagram and in my stories and everything else. And we're giving away free trips just for you guys to help, make your core stronger. And if you eat right, a little bit flatter, a little bit more toned, under quotes, a little bit more shredded, a little bit more ripped, and insert any other word you want that you think is sexy for your midsection. And that is our goal inside of there. And honestly, just to help you really understand what core training is about, and it's not just lay there and do fucking crunches for hours because you think that's going to do it. No, this is a legit ab and core training program that's going to challenge you guys in your entire trunk. It's gonna be fun in a really nasty, gross way, like we do most things here. So again, any questions for me, any podcast requests, anything you want to see or hear or guests you want me to bring on, hit me up. I'll do my best to accommodate. I thank you guys. I thank you for the reviews. I thank you for being inside the app, and honestly, I just thank you for listening to me ramble on and talk shit. Hopefully I'm providing you with some value in your life, and if I do, thank us by the reviews and picking up the app. It would mean the world to me. Have an awesome rest of your Friday, and until next time, you guys, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.